Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Food, a policy dialogue Q&A. This is a follow-up conversation to Wednesday's Global Policy Dialogue series on equitable food livelihoods, organized by the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs. For that event, we brought together food systems and population experts from around the world for a discussion on ending hunger and providing decent work in the context of demographic change in rural development. The speakers there brought up a lot of good examples and potential solutions to help us achieve all of these sustainable development goals. And we're keeping the conversation going now here on Facebook. So I'm Ariel Alexovich with UN DESA, and I have with me here today, Hellen Akinyi Onyango, a crop aggregator with the Farm to Market Alliance in Kenya. Welcome, Hellen, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ariel. Hi.
Hi. So Hellen, you were one of the speakers at the Global Policy Dialogue on Food Systems Livelihoods. In particular, you participated in a panel on how sustainable rural development can help ensure better jobs related to the way we grow, transport, and sell food. On Wednesday, you showed a lot of passion for the farmers you work with and for your community. So first, I'm hoping you can tell our Facebook audience a little bit about your work and what you do.
Interesting question, Ariel. Thank you. So I'm Hellen Onyango, as you have said. I am a young agri-socialpreneur. That is, I am an entrepreneur in the agricultural value chain. So I run Hellen Agspace, which is an organization which tries to empower youth and women in agriculture as we try to make agriculture more profitable and just to give them just a sense of livelihood through agriculture as we try to break barriers and include everyone, just trying to make some sense generally into agriculture. So we help women and the youth in capacity building. We offer them mentorship. We're just trying to show them that agriculture is a source of employment, as it can be a source of employment. How? We can link you to the market one. We can help you actually set up the whole thing. We can offer you information. Let's say you are a young farmer who wants to venture into sorghum. We can tell you that this is what you need, this is how much you need, and we are going to link you to the market. So we actually give you that confidence to venture into agriculture and also offer you sometimes even financial support so that you can just have your foot on the ground and start venturing into agriculture. So we're just trying to impact lives through agriculture. Because as for me, I used to be a farmer before I went into maybe cereal aggregation and this organization. So it actually used to hurt me because maybe like I used to do melon in the first place. So melon at the farm gate was, let's say, $1. While when you go for the same melon in the market, it's $10. So this $9, you're wondering who's taking the $9, yet we are the ones who are just breaking our backs and maybe you can't afford basic things, even health insurance, we can't afford simply because we are, let's say, I'm sorry to say this, but by then it felt like we're in the wrong value chain because you are thinking you're going into agriculture and thinking like, it's food, everyone eats food, who doesn't eat food? We need food, and yet at the end of the day, I'm the one who's supplying people with food and I can't show anything. So that one really got me mad and it got me thinking, what if we can actually break and lessen this middlemen and we could just form a group and come together and take these things to the market ourselves? Will it be more profitable, make a little more money for us? And I think with that in mind, that is what gave birth to Hellen Agspace. And I felt that we are the young people. I mean, we contribute for over half of the population. What if we can get into agriculture, just trying to reduce poverty and create employment, which is a very big issue from where I come from. And I think from most parts of the world, employment is an issue. So that is what gave birth to Hellen Agspace. And there I work with the Farm to Market Alliance in the sorghum value chain. So they come into the ground, they just try to help capacity build for farmers and sometimes give them support, link them to other partners who can actually give them credit and farm inputs on loan, whereby after they are through with it, they can give back the money. So I think that's it for Hellen and Hellen Agspace. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's what we're talking about here when we are looking ahead to 2021 and the UN Food Systems Summit, and it's really identifying what are the problems in our current food systems and transforming them so that it's better for people and better for the planet. So I heard you already bring up some themes that also came up in the discussion on Wednesday about the underlying factors crucial to address before we talk about the food system's livelihoods. Could you tell us a little bit more about these, maybe the access to financing, et cetera?
Oh, thank you, Ariel. So in order to make agriculture profitable, I think there are some issues we need to address. And one of the key issues is how can you make this profitable for people who are in agriculture? I think the first thing we need to look at is the cost of production, because most of the time you're going to find that the cost of production is not reasonable. So at the end of the day, it's going to make my product not competitive in the market. Because if I am a manufacturer, if I can buy maize for maybe $1 in Kenya, and when I get it from a different country, it's maybe $0.50. Why would I not get from a different country and leave the one from Kenya? So if at all, we can actually just make the cost of production more reasonable to make our goods more competitive. A second one is how to include women and young people in agriculture, because we find that as women, we are a bit marginalized. We can't access as much as men access. When we're talking, when it comes to finance, you see as a woman, over 50% of women are into agriculture, yet only a fifth of that can access these financial services. You can't compare that to a man. And we all know that if a woman can access as much as a man can do, we can actually tackle two things. One, people who are going hungry. We know that women, most of the time, are the ones who are in charge of food and everything in the household. So if this woman can actually get more from the farm that she's working on, we are going to tackle the issue of hunger too, malnutrition. Nutrition plays a very big role, because even right now in COVID, everyone is talking about food nutrition. What are you eating? What are you eating? So if this woman could access as much as the man can access, so these two issues will be tackled. Another thing is land rights. I work with women, and most of them are registered, but the sad bit, you'll find that when it comes down to paper, it's not the woman's name that's on the paper, it's the man's name. And the man is never there on the land at all to do anything. This woman is going to sweat it out day in, day out. So when it comes to the money, this man is going to be the one who's taking the money. And I find that a bit unfair, and sorry to say this, annoying, because I mean, it is me who's doing all the work. Why should someone else just come? Can't we split 50-50, or maybe give me a say in the land? And on the same thing, as a woman, maybe let's say you're given your farmland by your family. You're not even sure the next time when they're going to just show up and say like, no, give this land to your brother or to someone else needs it. So you can't actually even invest in the land. You have no confidence because you're not sure of tomorrow. So you're just left hanging. You as a woman, you're just working on the fact that you're not sure of tomorrow. So as an investor, as a woman investor into that, you're not very comfortable to put in any of your money down. So you're just going to work with whatever is given. Another thing is that women just need to come together. When we come together, we can actually form this SMEs, which are going to support us financially. Of course, there are mobile platforms which lend money, but at what interest and what percentage? I'm not talking about maybe platforms that maybe lend $200 going to lend us money, but at what interest, and two, what do they want in return? So all these are not in favor of the woman. And two, as a young person, our main frame is that you go into something that is making money. And right about now, agriculture, everyone, me as a young person, be motivated to go into agriculture. So the minute it starts to make money is when these young people can be motivated to go into agriculture. So how do we motivate these people? Simple, make agriculture profitable. So young people need to have the information. They need to be supported. There need to be those incubation centers where as a young person, I can actually just go in. Someone is going to hold my hand and give me all the support before they just let me out into the wind and go like you're on your own. You just need someone to hold our hands, support us financially, mentally, and all that, so that we can actually get our food rates, but we can be reasonable, then we are not going to make money. So me, I'm a champion for this cost of production needs to go down, and government just needs to come up with policies that are going to see in order to make this profitable. So that's it, Ariel.
Thank you, Helen. And I'm with you. I think that the inequalities you brought up are annoying too. So feel free to be passionate about that. Absolutely. So you raised a lot of good points about rural women and youth. I wonder, are there good examples of projects near you in Kenya that are incorporating sustainable rural development, like the good solutions you're already seeing? Over to you.
Oh, yes, Ariel. I'm actually part of a project where it is in the sorghum value chain. This is where there's a manufacturer here, the biggest beer manufacturer in Kenya, has invested in the sorghum value chain, whereby people are given forward contracts to grow and supply the sorghum to them. So with this, I think it is sustainable in the sense that sorghum is a climate smart crop. And these people have actually come in and told us that, yeah, you can actually plant the sorghum you're going to buy from you at this price. So you go in being very comfortable of what you're going to get on the other end of the stick. You just don't go in blind. You know that if I'm going to plant my sorghum, this is what I'm going to get, the price per kg. And with that in mind, it has actually opened ways, because as Elena Ag Space, we're actually looking into ways on how we can do more with the sorghum, not just to sell it to that one manufacturer, but with us, can it be a substitute for maize? Can we mill it? Can we pack it and put it as a fortification for those other flours and everything else in the market? So with that, I think with the sorghum value chain, it is one of the projects that I find sustainable right about now in our value chain. But there are even other players who are actually trying to look into to come in with soya bean, with just the normal bean, but the one that is actually on the ground and doing wonders is the one for sorghum, because we are very much comfortable working with it. We have the forward contract, so you know how much you're going to go, not someone just shortchanging you, and there are no middlemen. You as a farmer, you can just collect your grain, take it to the store, you're paid, and whoever is going to take it from the store is the one to take it to the manufacturer. So you just know that this is how much I'm going to get. So there's little middlemen and little interference between you and the crop, and breweries also is trying to support farmers. So they crop monitor, they offer advice, they just work with the farmer the whole process. You might be having trouble, they have the extension officers on the ground doing all that and just trying to make this thing work for everyone.
Yeah, and do you think this is something that could be scaled up or replicated in other parts of Kenya or other countries?
Yes, I so believe it can be scaled up, and even other players can come in, because why can't the same come in for maize? People can actually just go into maize, but the problem is policies just need to be put in place whereby everyone is protected. You see, like in Kenya, the maize one cannot work simply because there are not policies to protect, to shield the farmer. No one is, the manufacturers are not very comfortable to give you a forward contract. But if policies can actually be put in place whereby manufacturers are comfortable and everyone is comfortable of what they're going to go in for and what they're getting at the other side. So if policies can be put in place, then I think so many other crops, the same thing can work for them. But we just need the right policies and the framework in order for all this to work.
Yeah. And when you talk about we need the better policies, how do you see these policies happening? What do we need to ensure that the farmers are getting their voices heard with governments? How do you see that?
We need partnerships, and actually for players, all the key players, me as a rural woman, the government, the NGOs, all the interested parties, to actually sit down and actively participate in the process. I just can't talk about policies and yet I'm leaving the whole thing to one interested parties. Every interested party just needs to come and say, like, me, I'm a farmer. This is what I feel is okay if you could pay me, and maybe if you could make the prices for imports or exports a bit expensive so that I can actually sell my product. And the government needs to come in and say, now, this is what I can do. I can lower the cost of production, maybe subsidize fertilizer, the inputs and all those. And these other parties even come in, insurance companies, and say, like, we are going to offer insurance, we're going to cushion you. And manufacturers come in and say, if you can give us this quality, then you have no problem at buying XYZ from you at this cost. So everyone just needs to come in and their voices heard, not just a few individuals, but it needs to be inclusive of everyone, and everything just needs to be put on the table so that you can actually talk and come to an agreement of what needs to be done, what can be done, and what can't be done.
Yeah. And I think as a last question, Hellen, I'd really just like to hear from you. What do you love most about your job? Your work is so interesting. What gives you this passion?
I think what gives me passion is that I want to change other people's lives. I actually feel so sad when I wake up in the morning and maybe you're just walking out and you see this old lady who has been toiling, doing work in the field, and yet at the end of the day, they're poor. They have nothing to show for that. It actually pains me because I see farming as a source of employment. Then why are people just not making money out of it? It pains me. We are very many youthful people. We can't do anything. We're just seated, and we are afraid of going into farming simply because it's not making money. So me, I just want to make an impact into people's lives. And women, I am an advocate for women. I so feel like we get the short end of the stick, and I just feel like I need to do something. And if farming is what I can do it as I try to change other people's life, then so be it. Because me as an individual, I never did farming. But the passion and that, it's like that madness that gets you thinking like, why is someone making money and yet I'm the one who's sweating? So I just needed to make women and try to change their mind frame like, oh, okay, maybe we're getting the short end of the stick, but what can we do? Can we have our voices heard? Can someone share with us information, maybe show us new markets where we can sell our products and get something out of it? And just try to make us as women equal, and even youthful people. You just need to bring something to the table. And if this something comes from agriculture, then so be it. I just needed to transform people's lives through agriculture and include everyone in this whole thing. And as we try to make the world equal, just fighting for equality in all sectors. And mine, I think, is agriculture.
Great. I think that's a beautiful way to end it. Thank you so much, Hellen, for sharing your experiences with us. We really appreciate it. And to our audience, I really recommend listening to Hellen's remarks in Wednesday's Global Policy Dialogue. The video of that whole event can be seen here on UNDESA's Facebook page. And for more information on the Global Policy Dialogue series, please visit un.org/DESA, DESA. Thanks again, Hellen, and I wish you a happy weekend and a happy holiday season coming up. Thanks again.
Same, Ariel, and thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.